Hey guys, I'm Paul the Motor Guy, and welcome to my channel, where I pass on riding tips, practice drills, and defensive riding strategies. Now, I'm a rider coach, a motorcycle sergeant, and owner and instructor at ProRider Center, Texas, where we teach police riding skills to civilian riders. If you're wanting to support my channel, you can do so by joining the ProRider Membership Club, by clicking the join button below to see all the wonderful perks. You can also send a one-time payment using the email address up top. I did a video on how to use the rear brake when doing slow speed maneuvers, so if you haven't seen that video, be sure to go check it out after this video. I'm going to leave a link up top and in the description below. Now, after reading my subscribers' comments on the problems they have when using the rear brake and seeing the problems when I teach my advanced course, I decided to do this video. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover the mistakes that I see when it comes to riders using the rear brake. Now, I will explain when to properly use it and give you an exercise that will help. So hang tight. One problem that I see is that riders will rely too much on the rear brake, thus causing them to use it when it's really not needed. So this is what usually happens. So the rider will enter the turn at a good entry speed, and then they'll use the brake while they're in the turn, which slows the motorcycle down too much, and then it becomes more of a balancing act. Then the rider gets uncomfortable due to the very low speeds, which causes them to put their foot down. Now let me know in the comment section below if you find yourself doing this. Now, let me say that the rear brake is only used if your speed is too fast and you need to control your speed. Now, there are two times we can use the rear brake to take out speed when doing slow speed maneuvers. One is prior to you starting your turn when the motorcycle is still straight up and down. Now, if you can get your speed under control prior to your turn, then you won't need as much brake when you're in your turn. The next video will show how I get my speed where I want it prior to my turn, which is around 10 miles per hour. Then I will not use any brakes in the turn. Now, I'll be using a 20-foot U-turn box for my demo, so let's check it out. Now, the other time you can use a rear brake is if you're in your turn and you have too much speed and it's causing you to go wide. You can then drag the rear brake to take out speed, which will then tighten up your turn. But remember, you don't want to stomp on the rear brake pedal. Now, this next video will demonstrate me using the rear brake during my turn to take off speed to prevent me from going wide. Now, I'm going to enter the U-turn box at about 13 miles per hour. Now, let's check out this video. Now, I'm going to show you a side view of this demo. Now, I want you to see how much smoother and tighter my turn is when I get my speed under control prior to my turn, and I have to use little to no brakes while I'm in my turn. Notice how tight my turn was. Now in this next video, I will come in at around 13 miles per hour, and I will have to use more brakes to stay within the boundaries. Now this time, notice how my turn is a little wider. Now the only reason you knew I used the rear brake is because I told you I was going to. The point is, you couldn't tell just by looking at the motorcycle. This is because I was smooth on the rear brake and I did not stomp on the brake pedal. Many times I can tell when riders are using the rear brake because the motorcycle is bouncing up and down due to the rider stomping on and off the rear brake pedal. So if this is you, try to smooth things out by lightly pressing on the pedal. So if you're having trouble using too much rear brake during your turn, here's what I want you to do. I want to get your speed where you want it prior to your turn. Then I want you to make your turn without using the rear brake. By doing this, you will see that the motorcycle will actually stay in its lane a little bit better. And you won't feel like you're fighting the motorcycle during your turn. This will also help to wean you off using so much rear brake. Now you can do this exercise using a U-turn box like I did. Now, depending on how comfortable you are making your turns, you can just ride and make your U-turns with no cones or boundaries. Now, I hope this video helped you understand when you can use the rear brake when doing slow speed maneuvers. Now, if you found this video helpful, be sure to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Now, until next time, practice, 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 and ride safe.